thing. You know, a lot of BDS college radio stations that exist today that you should take advantage of. But I started there, and I just started making relationships. I met this guy named Nelson Taboda, who's currently today the vice president at G Unit Records. At that time, he was working at Epic, and he extended his hand to myself and a couple of the people that were at Stony Brook. And I just started building relationships with a lot of label cats. Met this guy named Eric Paula, and then started interning, started street teaming, started doing all that good stuff. Working for free, taking the train from Long Island to the city every day, and just grinding it out. The same grind you guys are going through today, trying to get your music out there, is the same grind that I was pursuing, trying to get into the executive world. It took a long time. It took years and years and years of building relationships. The key thing in this game, the key to success in life is relationships. I don't care about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? If you know all the right people, you good money. But if you don't have no relationships and you think that just by approaching somebody and giving them music it's all good, that's not the way the game works. The game of life is about building relationships. So, did all that, and then eventually found my way into Hot 97 relationships. And I've been there forever. And eventually I worked with Ant at Jive Records for a couple of years, and I took a risk and went to this label called TBT Records. And we found a lot of success with Little John, Ying Yang Twins, Teacher Moses, Pitbull. And I took Pitbull and I said, yo, Steve Gottlieb, why aren't we going to the Latin stations with Pitbull? Well, Tone, take him to the Latin stations. Okay, cool. So I just built a whole network of Latin stations, found a lot of success with Pitbull on the crossover and on the Latin side. And then Steve Rifkin and Sylvia Rome were launching, they were investing in this Latin division for Motown Records. And that's where I'm at today because of what I did with Pitbull on the Latin side for TBT Records. And that's a relationship right there with those people. So, build your relationships.
So A&R is actually are kind of almost like a dying breed. There's not that many of you guys left. I mean, not to be rude, but it forces you to wear many different hats now. What is your day-to-day like? Anybody can answer this. But don't fight for the mic or anything else.
Trey.
Damn.
Trey?
Well, what's interesting is that when I was interning, Dino was like, he was in the office, but he wasn't. Like Tone said, he was building relationships. Because everything, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it really does revolve around relationships. And you advance based on those relationships. It's not, they say, there's an old saying that says, what you know, who you know will get you to the door, and the door will open for you. You'll get inside, but, it's about what you know after that. So I would see him out chilling, dressing fly, driving the hottest whips. And I'm like, man, I gotta check the messages, I check emails. But he was doing a lot that I wanted to do. It's not what I'm doing right now. I do what I want to do, but I get in probably around 9:30 in the morning. No later than 10 o'clock, because 50 sometimes will be there at 9. He was there at 7 in the morning in the office, very hands-on person. So I'm there, I'm checking my messages, I'm going through all my emails, and honestly that takes a lot out of my day, my emails and email correspondence. So I check music, but I also just correspond with a lot of people. I deal with managers, producers, the artists themselves, executives. I was just talking to Tone about working with some folks, regarding Banks' new management and that sort of thing. So really right now, and at our company, we're a small, very powerful independent label because of the intellectual capital we have there. What I mean by that are the people that I work with. And we have people in my department that work in marketing that do A&R, a bit of A&R, but they're also doing graphic design. I mean, we're learning video editing. I'm learning video editing. I'm learning graphic design, Adobe, CS4, all that stuff. So I'm learning all that stuff right now as an A&R. So it's not as, glorified as it used to be. But, and it's basically, it boils down to in the past, finding hit records. But now it's about brand enhancement and brand building. So my role is definitely, as you said, our roles are really developing, opening up into basically being business managers. So we find and hit records. We cultivate the music that we need, that the market, our market will buy, that our fans need. But it's also about building the brand, the image of our artists. So more like our brand versus music or a song in the marketplace.
Anybody else want to say anything on that?
You just try to stay as productive as possible. If nothing's going on, that's why there's just so many things out there. Not only, like they said, checking those emails can be overwhelming, but within those emails, the beats and the tracks, and you're looking for particular tracks, it's just as long as you stay productive, then add it on. It's almost the role of wearing a bunch of different hats. Add it on to what Trey just said. It's like, it's not just looking for tracks, it's just looking for opportunity out there to help that brand. And right now, the way things are going with the internet and the way things...
And what I do for Playing for Change. For those of you that know about Playing for Change, I released, it's a compilation project with worldwide covers of songs around the world. You can go to YouTube, we have over 50 million hits, and Starbucks just released the multimedia disc. It's available nationwide at any Starbucks. I really urge you to pick it up, because the interesting thing about Playing for Change is there is no, is this artist marketable, or is there talent there? We try to record everything that has talent and we show it to the world. So I just partnered with Starbucks and Northern Lear. So it's as the project keeps growing, it's taking up more and more of my time. And then at the same time, it really is, it's listening to music, returning phone calls and emails, and then making sure, you know, the rest of the company is giving the things that you signed or that you're A&R attention. That's such a crucial part. You need to do your laps. You need, you know, A&R is on 13, marketing, promo, digital is on 14. So at least 3 times a day, I'm up on 14 doing my laps. What's going on with this?
Does anybody want to get
attached to that machine? So just picture a company like Universal Music Group that has hundreds of artists, many subsidiary labels, and a lot of priorities. And then, you know, you have, let's just take Universal Motown, you have Universal Republic, you have, you know, that sometimes they share certain services, sometimes, well, I know Universal Motown has its own radio department, but let's just say Motown has artists they have the artists that sell a lot of records. Artists that sell a lot of records get a lot of priority, you know? And, you know, I think new artists have that one shot to really, you know, step in and make a mark for themselves in that building. And if you don't do it the first time around, you maybe might get a second chance. But even then, I doubt it. So you got that one shot, you know, you got that little window period to prove to the radio department that, hey, your single is worth investing time. And that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. And you know, so the major, you got to look at it like that. There's a lot of traffic. On the independent side, there's not that much traffic, you know. You know, you have a couple of artists and they really prioritize, you know, their business on a scale of certain artists.
I can add on to that, just saying that, first of all, you have to define what's a major and what's an indie. And not everyone that's running around with a logo or saying that they have an independent label is really independent. Because just, if you, like Disturbing the Peace, that's Ludacris's label, right? But it's backed by Def Jam, so it's not really an independent label. Now, Duck Down, which is my label, we are completely independent. That means that we own our records, we manufacture, we fund the making of our records, we fund the marketing of it. Everything is on us. We have a distributor that's called Koch, and some of you might know that name. And even knowing that name Koch, for some people, Koch has Koch Records and Koch Distribution. So certain artists like Jim Jones, who was on Koch, he didn't have his own entity there, like he was on Koch Records. So Koch also is a distribution company, and they distribute our, you know, our music. The pros and the cons of it is great to own your own thing, and I always say this at pretty much every panel I speak on. Being independent is a way to do it.